This video is made for adult collectors because Cybertron's 19 years old now. He's legally allowed to drink here in Canada, or at least in Ontario. Anyways.
The Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons.
So more Unicron Trilogy toys is definitely a welcome surprise. This is the next of the Unicron Trilogy, but modern toys they've been making, and it's probably my favorite version of Unicron Trilogy Starscream, the Cybertron one. And this looks spot on. This isn't sponsored, but to answer the quote-unquote where did I get this question that I'm probably going to get from people, I bought this from a place about 2 hours away called Here to Serve You. It's like a little small independent shop. But yeah, Starscream, he's actually great. The only big issue I have with this is it feels a bit too light. Like, I opened up Silverbolt first, and he's really solid and dense, but Starscream is slightly taller for a Voyager with a lot of extra bits, so I'm assuming that's why he feels a bit lighter next to Silverbolt, because Silverbolt's shorter. That's like my biggest complaint, though. Otherwise, I really like him. He looks super dynamic and reminds me of how Howling Meteor looked back in the day. I still want to get that figure. The angles and the slender nature of his limbs and the level of detail on display, it's really nice to see. The paint is pretty nice too, nothing feels sloppy, and while most of the paint is delegated to the upper body, the color separation helps the lower body not look boring with the blue thighs and the blue on the feet. He does all the Cybertron Starscream things, like coming with an actual cyber key. I'm so glad they included these, just like the mini-cons. They're hopefully like popping more of these Unicron Trilogy references into their toys. I'm hoping whenever Energon toys start to become a thing in these size classes, they come with Energon stars, please and thank you. He also has the shoulder swords that fold out manually from the, well, shoulders, but because of this, that brings a slight articulation issue. The shoulders don't go out as far as I would like with the blade wing thingies. However, they thought about that and added a double hinge to the shoulder pads so that they can move out of the way to allow for more shoulder movement. That's really cool. He also comes with this massive clear rifle, and like, that's a lot of stuff actually, because everything is packed separately. The tail fins come detached out of the box too, and they're on 5mm pegs, so he can kind of hold them at weird angles to use them as blades, I guess, if that's something you want. I love the head sculpt. It's so snarky and conniving, just like Starscream. It fits super well and is probably my favorite Starscream head sculpt in recent memory. Now, as you may have noticed, the amount of joints all over this dude. There's a lot. So let's just show off what he could do.
I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's inside for me. But let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's inside for me. But let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff.
So this Starscream has a wealth of articulation, and it's awesome. It's another reason why I think he feels as light as he does. Like, I say he feels light. He doesn't feel hollow. He weighs about the same as this thing, right? Like, they are about the same. It's just, this feels a little bit more denser, and I opened this first, so it made this feel a bit weird. But there's a lot of stuff going on here. So the head is on a ball joint, and mine for some reason has that issue where the ball joint is like squished a bit inside the head, so he'll like snap back into forward. If I like, yep, there you go. See, it'll just snap back, but the head can rotate left and right. It can look up and down a little bit. I really wish it could look up more, and it can't tilt. I wish there was a little bit more range at that ball jointed head. These shoulders, they can rotate, they can do a full 360. This one's a little loose, but the other one seems to be fine. As you saw earlier, you can pull this section out, so the shoulder can go out all the way. You do have dedicated butterfly joints. These are not for transformation. They're just there because they wanted to put it there. You have bicep rotation. You have double jointed elbows. These are the same elbows as the Siege Starscream mold, like exactly the same piece. And then you have a wrist swivel, though it is a little bit difficult to get at in here because of this panel, but it does swivel, so that's good. And then these can rotate if you want, and you can fold the wings in and out. I personally just leave them out because I like the way that looks. You have a waist joint, which stops at about there because the backpack, like this part here, just due to the way it's shaped, it does bump into the crotch, or the butt, sorry, a little bit. But I feel like that's enough range. I wouldn't really want it to go any further anyway, so I'm okay with this. The hips can go forward all the way, they can go back all the way. They can go out all the way. You have thigh rotation. You have a single jointed knee that clicks straight. I don't know why they do that, but it clicks straight, but it bends a little bit over 90 degrees. And the ankles can go down. They can go up. And then you have a full-on ankle tilt. So he can do pretty much anything you want other than look up, which is a shame, but like he can do a lot, which is awesome. And he's got the heels to boot. Like, these are extra fold-out heels so that when you put him down, he stays there. I love that. So that Screamer, as a robot, pretty much nails it on the head. So how about that jet, eh? God, why did I say eh? My inner Canadian's coming out. Next thing you know, I'm going to be wearing the Canadian tuxedo and going to Tim Hortons. So this guy does transform a lot like the original. However, there's a couple of like new tricks that it does that makes it feel not so boring. Because for me personally, when I get something that transforms exactly like the original version of it, I get kind of bored of it because I've probably experienced it before. But this, it does a couple of different things, which I like. It's like, well, it's not like this. This is completely different. But it is kind of in the same sense of I was worried that I would find this boring, and I don't. I just dropped something. Anyways, to start with, we are going to fold up the tail fins, open this section up, rotate the head 180 degrees, and close that back up. And then I'm going to close up the tail fins for now. Just get them shut. Then we're going to take these sections and rotate them down. Like that. They are on 5mm pegs, by the way. They can just come off and you can put them literally wherever, which I think is cool. But anyways, leave them on. You can take them off for transformation too if you want to, but like that's involuntary parts forming. And I know some people are going to be bugged by that. Now you do the Siege Starscream arm. So you open up the arm, fold the hand in, close the arm up. Do that on both sides. Like so. Then rotate the arms 180 degrees and unclip it from the shoulder. And there's a 5mm peg right here that will peg into the arm, but you want to make sure that it is completely straight like that. And then you peg it in like so. Bring this section down, hold it up, peg it in. Make sure everything's all lined up nicely. These pegs are a little shallow, a little too shallow, and like the arms will come out while you're transforming it. It is a little annoying while you're trying to get it into jet mode, and the arms just come out. Now you want to take this entire section here and bring it up. I don't like that. This clip right here is really big and it's really strong on that section. I might shave it down just a little bit, but it is made of palm, so I don't think it's going to snap, but it is just scary. But once you have that done, now we're going to work on the legs. So you fold out the nose cone sections and then you fold up the heels and they go all the way around and over to the feet. Rotate them around, open up these dedicated gap fillers, which I like. You open those up like so, and then we're going to accordion this in. The arm right here has a hook that's going to hook into this, like that, and then the foot's going to fold around and tab into the little gap there. And that's one side. Now lining up the other side can be a little bit difficult at first because you're like, how the hell does any of this work? But you just got to make sure everything gets pushed past its locking points, and then you can peg the nose cone together. Make sure the arms are situated correctly, like so. Then you want to fold these sections down. I haven't pegged this in yet because the gun right here can peg into these two pegs right there with the fins on it. You can slot it in there, or you can slot it in up here if you want, and then close this up. And there you go. That's actually really nice concealed weapon storage. And that's the jet mode. The wings are not straight. And that's the jet mode. God, that's so much fun. The transformation isn't as refined as I would like, but it's by no means bad. And this jet looks fantastic. It's a spitting image of what I had as a kid when I had that giant Starscream thing. There aren't any new details exposed, but all the robot ones combine pretty well to make the jet look seamless. I do think the underside is a bit messy, but the gun can plug in down there and make things look a little bit more uniform, but it can also plug into the tail fins, and honestly I kind of prefer that a bit more. The cannons on the chest part area thingy don't rotate, which is a bit of a shame, but One thing I do wish this came with was a crown. The way this thing is shaped on the back looks like you can plug a crown into it. I don't have 86 Starscream yet, but it may be for his crown. I don't know, someone could tell me in the comments. I'm not 100% sure if that actually fits there. but it's a nice solid jet. I like it. And that's the figure as a whole. It's nice and solid and I really like it. I definitely think it's worth picking up, more so than the Armada one, that's for sure. Like if the Armada one hadn't come out, I might have been like, this is pretty good for the price, but like that Armada one existing and me being disappointed in it, this is just a hell of a lot nicer. So I do recommend it. But that's my look at Transformers Legacy, Transformers Legacy Cybertron Starscream. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.